So, it doesn't matter how heavy it gets for you. It doesn't matter what you have been through. His love for you is as strong as it has ever been.
And action.
Dear God, hi Dad. I know last time was heavy lifting and I didn't even get to say goodbye. I know. I know sometimes in our life we get into that point where we have crossed the line and we think that we can't get back. But we can. Because our relationship with God is like the relationship with a mother and a son. I'll tell you a story. When my son was 5 years old, I took him to a fellowship. And when we got there, all the parents were inside the room having conversations and, reading the Bible and having discussions with God. And the children were outside playing. And trust me, my son was the noisiest amongst all of them. He was yelling and shouting and running and misbehaving all over. And I was in the midst of typical good moms. And the only thing they were doing was eyeing me and, the boy will run into the room and jump on top of the table and then run out again and then he will carry his ball and flip it into the room. And all I wanted to do was hide under the table. I was so embarrassed. It was so humiliating. And the other mothers were just eyeing me. As in, what a bad mom. She has no manners. You didn't raise him up well. You know those kind of looks moms give when they think that they are better, in housekeeping than you are. And no matter how much I eyed this boy, no matter the signs I gave this boy, in fact, the more I gave him signs, the more he went haywire. He was playing ball outside and somehow I think he scored. He ran into the room, jumped on top of our table and started shouting, "I am Tarzan, king of the jungle." With the pastors and everybody. Right in the middle of a meeting. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't beat my son. He was my son. And after he had done all of that and he got tired, you know what he did? He just walked up to me, sat on my laps, gave me a peck and said, "Mommy, I love you." Aww. How would you punish such a child? What would you do to such a child? That is what we do to you, right? After we have done all the shenanigans, we come back to you and we say we love you and we apologize and we get back. So this is me coming back, apologizing after I've done all my heavy liftings, ranted, angry. I'm back to you, my love, because you will take me, whether you like it or yes. So, it doesn't matter how heavy it gets for you. It doesn't matter what you have been through. His love for you is as strong as it has ever been. As strong as this tree on the whirlwind. I tell you another story. You see, I had just finished doing the housework and, I needed some me time. And I picked up the remote and I turned to a channel. And that channel was a documentary channel. It was a documentary about the whirlwind and a tree. It was one of the heaviest, fiercest whirlwinds I've ever seen. It attacked the town, and as it was coming, it was just picking up everything on its way. Houses, cars, name it. It just formed a very big tunnel, and it was almost swallowing up everything into that tunnel. It was so fierce that people were just running helter-skelter, and they were all getting embedded into the, like a bunk, you know. I think that the whirlwind actually happens every time in that town. And his approach, there was a very big tree right in the middle of the town. And the whirlwind went after the tree with everything it has collected on its way, and it hit the tree. The tree bent backwards, but came up again. I was hailing and shouting and cheering on my day. It was just a fight between the whirlwind and the tree. It went back again, rolled back fiercely with all the debris that it carried, and came after the tree again. The tree bent, but stood back again. Oh, come and see me. I was up on my feet. I was hailing. I was shouting, go, resist it. You can do this. You can do this. It was fun. And after some time, the whirlwind tied and tried and pushed and shoved and held, but the tree held. And after some time, he started losing his might. And then he dropped all the debris he was carrying just around the tree. And as he was dropping it, he was actually giving the tree more strength and more resistance. And after some time, he just whirled away and walked. Come and see me. I jumped on my tree, jumped on my feet, and I was like, yes, we did it, we won. And you know, in the documentary, people talked about the tree and said that for years, for centuries, that tree has stood as an anchor and resistance to the whirlwind, no matter how fierce and how strong it came. And I can attribute that to you. You have been our resistant to whirlwinds, to obstacles, to anchors. You have stood by us through thick and thin. You know, you are that takes us when the world comes after us. And I know that nothing, no matter how upset we are, no matter how much we don't even relate or know it, you will always be there. So this time, I'm not walking out. I am signing out because I am your daughter. And I'm checking in.